you came to the realization of this, of course, after running a panel and realizing that you had this condition. Are there certain panels tests that you recommend everyone do on a regular basis, even if you're feeling okay, you know, and don't have many symptoms?
Ideally, you would catch this right before it even gets started. So keeping a close eye on, this is controversial now, I feel like, vitamin D, keeping a close eye on not just TSH, but you know, your free T3, free T4, thyroid antibodies, so thyroid peroxidase, thyroglobulin antibodies, ferritin. Just a good annual checkup by your doctor with a CBC can even see a lot of high sensitivity like CRP, all your inflammatory biomarkers. Those are excellent things to check because we know that inflammation drives autoimmunity. And those are tests that are even embraced by more conventional practitioners. They may not address them, but they're labs that they will order for patients most of the time.
And in that idea or the knowledge that inflammation drives autoimmunity is obviously on the rise these days. What are then in your estimation, what are the contributing factor, those root causes that is driving inflammation? I mean, I know there's a lot, but do we have do you have certain ones that you really look for to say we need to remove this, whether that's diet with certain things or some toxins that are entering the body?
All the above. All the above. All the above. Yeah. Gluten is probably, which is contaminated with glyphosate. Like that's a huge one for the majority of people with autoimmunity. Cutting out gluten and dairy are big.
Do you think that's the problem with gluten, the glyphosate? Because a lot of people, listen, celiac disease wasn't such a huge issue, you know, 50 or 100 years ago. And a lot of people ate things with gluten in it.
I mean, I don't know. There's some studies that have some different information, but yeah, I don't think that it's doing us any favors, right? The glyphosate, it's in everything. And it's literally punching holes in our guts. And it's unavoidable. Like even if you eat an organic diet, like you are still getting exposure to glyphosate. So that's kind of a battle that you can choose to fight or not. Toxins, we were talking earlier about water, fluoride in water, not a fan. I think there are other options like toothpaste with hydroxyapatite, you know, mercury, heavy metal exposures are another big one for people, especially people who have mercury like fillings. Mercury is also in a lot of, so there's exposure there. All of our endocrine disrupting toxins. And receipt paper, like it's literally, you and I were just talking about that. It's everywhere. Like you are surrounded. It feels like you're fighting a battle that you can't see. But yeah, plastic bottles, receipts, tons of toxins, and just being intentional and being aware of those things. Not that you're fearful, because I feel like people fall into this trap of fear, and that's not healthy for us either. But just awareness that there are these things that are out there that can, if you have a predisposition to autoimmunity, can impact you greatly. And if you don't, you know, if you can start before you get sick, even better.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like with autoimmunity and Hashimoto's, addressing the inflammatory causes is a big deal, but you can't get away from the inflammatory causes always, right? Like you said, glyphosate's everywhere, right? Toxins are in the air right now and everything. Every house has VOCs, other things going out. And
mold.
It's everywhere. So what do we do, right? We don't freak out. We don't panic. No. We don't get fearful because that won't help with our immune system and cause more inflammation, actually. So what are your recommendations? Are you big on like detoxes, fasting, saunas? What do you recommend?
I'm big on movement. I think for the majority of people, just moving your body instead of being stagnant, sitting in a chair in an office all day. That's great. I'm big on filtering water, like things that we can do that are not expensive, right? Because once you start getting into this, like it starts opening up this whole world and you think you have to buy all these things. Okay. But a water filter, a sauna is a fantastic investment. I love my sauna. I just got out of it this morning before we started talking. That's something that I really make sure, because you can buy a really good sauna. Can we mention that? Yeah. It has a red light in it and it's like a double whammy. It's the best thing ever. You and I have.
Which one are you? Is the Therasage? Okay, Dr. Besner is a good friend. Yeah, I love it. Love it. I mean, I recommend any, but I love that one too.
Yes, but yeah, sauna, movement, meditation, and just choosing the big thing, what you eat, because we're eating multiple times a day. Most people we're adults, right? So we choose our food, we go grocery shopping for ourselves, we make our meals. That's big. That's three times a day, if not more, that you're putting something inside your body that can impact your health.
Yeah.
And it takes less time to prepare a meal than it does to go get something. Like I don't buy that excuse.